Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Before we get started with our guest, just a few little notes here. First, we'd like to take this time to thank the members of our channel. Appreciate their support. Membership is cheap; it's only $4.99 a month plus tax. But thanks to our members, Nicole Miles, Kenny Snow, Joey Thibodeau, and our newest member, Angela Hall. Now, she registered as Angela Hall, but she now goes by Angela McNamara. I'm not asking any questions about anything. It's all good. Like I said, very easy to become a member. Just click join on the site, or when you're watching the video, you just click join and follow steps from there. As I said, $4.99 a month plus tax. Also, while you're watching this tonight, if you're not a subscriber, we'd appreciate you being a subscriber to the channel and like and share the video. Now, for the past week, we hope you're enjoying the main event 3 footage. That will continue all next week on the channel. That's for 3 different days, but also on, I believe, Wednesday, we have a spotlight on Barb Schlegel. Many more of you are familiar with her being called Barb Salepa, but she does now go by her maiden name, Barb Schlegel. Spotlight on her. And there's also a feature match featuring very Ontario's own Big Daddy Gary Goodrich, and that's from the 1993 WAF World Championships held in Edmonton, Alberta. After the day, Gary Goodrich was just an unbelievable arm wrestler, just great. And the producer is showing signs of problems over there. Yeah, what's the issues?
The video is not showing.
What's the video? Me, or I don't want you showing it on the video. We should just
No, you.
Okay. You had it and you lost it.
I had it and I lost it.
But we still have audio or no?
I think so.
Well, I tell you what, one of these days we might actually get this figured out. So we switched laptops again this week. I think we're on our 3rd or 4th different laptop. Tried. And the shop has still not got me back the original laptop that I wanted to do this on. It just ended up being so slow. I put a new hard drive in it. And I'd say the past 2 to 3 months has been just brutal with me and computers. Every time I turn around, something else is breaking down and going wrong. Oh, what?
I got myself up there and switched again. I can't get your video to show. I'm going to unplug the cam link.
Okay, so technical errors, folks. We're going to be right back as soon as we can. Thanks. How many windows do you have open on your laptop right now?
A bunch.
You have to close them. Your laptop is probably not designed for this, for all this video usage. I thought you just shut down.
There you are.
I'm just being quiet.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had you.
So are we still live? Can you tell me that?
Yes.
So we still have audio and not video.
We now have video.
We now have video. Yeah. And audio.
There's picture now.
There's
Yes.
picture.
Jim Battles is telling us. Oh no, Art and Adventure with Tasha. It's confirmed.
We now are live. Do I have to
Audio
start,
and video.
do we have to start again, or did your people
No.
already hear my spiel? My little housekeeping notes. So we're good to go, you think? One of these days we might get this shit figured out. And there's actually a good reason that we're having to play around with all this equipment. I could easily sit in my office and do this on a webcam, but this is for plans down the road to try and do a live stream out in the field. that will be actually for members only. Like main event arm wrestling is gonna be streamed live. We're hoping somewhere down the road, but it'll be for members only. The only ones that'll be able to watch it. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to our guest, longtime arm wrestler, now resident of Halifax, Trever Weatherbee. Trevor, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, Scott. It's
We
weird.
just meet.
Yeah, we just met, we just met. They're gonna fuck with me. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's what I do best. Right? No, so look, I appreciate you coming in and sitting down and having a chat for us.
We're neighbors now, so.
Yeah, you just live around the corner. Yeah. So tell me, how did you get started involved in organized arm wrestling?
Really, so Ed McClellan, that's my brother-in-law,
Eddie the Hook McClellan, for those of you who don't know, from Truro.
from Trever, yeah.
Yeah, and
So he, I used to go watch his tournaments, and I was too young to enter. I was probably 13, 14. Used to go most times in the pond at Truro.
Yeah.
Used to go and sit in the family section and watch, and just watching him pull and watch the sport and get to know people that are in the sport and get to know who, you know, who is what, and realize it was a really good thing to get involved in. People were nice, and started practicing with him. Right? So
okay, and did you, I mean, back then, it wasn't yesterday, but minors couldn't go in the bars like while the kitchens were open like they can now.
no, you could, yeah.
You
So
could then?
only for the tournament. So in the tournament,
Okay.
they would have a family section where you could eat.
Yeah.
And you could watch the tournament while you're eating. And
Could you compete or
no,
no?
you could not. You couldn't meet that area.
Okay.
So that's how I started getting into it, basically watching the sport and we got eating it. And I was waiting, had to come over and tell us how we did, right? So I never did. So
Oh, wow, okay. Because back then it was a force too. Eddie the Hook McClellan, he was a lot of fun to watch and
yeah, this little backward drag hook that just people couldn't understand what to do with it.
yeah. Okay, so once you got, do you remember when your first tournament was and where it was?
My first tournament was at the pond's one in Puddle Hill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
at the pond, yeah.
I think when we first started going there, was it called the Pond then, or was it called Ponderosa?
Ponderosa.
Ponderosa when we first started going. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then he changed the name to the Pond sometime down the road. I'm not sure why, but is that the like?
It's gone now. It doesn't exist.
Oh, really? The whole bar is gone?
No, it's gone.
Oh, the whole building's gone. Now, it's been a while since I was over to,
I think that Truro Town bought the whole land and stuff like that, so.
oh, really? So obviously, I mean, his business must not have been, towards the end, must not have been as successful as it
Yeah, it's
was.
now just a little restaurant up the road, so it's very small.
Oh, really? Okay, same ownership?
I think so.
Okay. So once you got started in arm wrestling, how were you doing in the beginning?
Terrible.
Were you?
Yeah, like my first year, it was only double elimination.
Yeah.
So my first whole year, which back then you're doing a tournament every month and a half,
Oh, yeah. for
and
sure.
I never won a full first whole year.
No? Sounds like me. I went
But
for a year and a half.
it was just get your ass kicked, boom, 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 and slowly ease into it and start.
Yeah.
Okay, that was okay. So yeah,
You saw some signs of
it took a
improvement.
good year and a half before I won full.
Okay. So what drove you to keep going?
It was just going to sites and practicing, just getting people, everybody you meet, no matter what tournament you go to, most people get along, they get camaraderie, everybody's talking. It was just nice environment to get in. And
Sweet.
so I said the drive to want.
And where were you living then?
I was living in Soap Maitland.
At where?
Maitland or Soap Maitland area.
Oh, okay.
We're passionate activities.
Yeah. Okay. And how old were you when you first started pulling?
So I had to wait till I was 19.
Wait till, okay, wait till legal age.
Yeah.
Because you started before the Ben was, right?
No, Ben was, we're one of the first people around, the two older brothers, both went through administration.
Jordan and Warren, yeah, and Frazier.
Frazier and,
No, Frazier is the youngest.
is he okay?
Yeah, Jordan and Warren were the two
Warren's the
older
one I
brothers.
remember the most.
Do you remember Warren? Okay, so if I remember correctly, I may be wrong, but I thought Jordan was the first one we saw. And then maybe Jordan and Warren together. I maybe that. I'm not sure.
I just know Warren's the one that I used to go and watch for.
Yeah, okay. I know Warren stuck around with arm wrestling longer than his older brother did. And Rick and I remember, and their dad, Mr. Benoit, I don't know his first name. He used to come out all the time to support his boys. And that's when I first met Frazier as well. So I guess probably depending on where the tournament was being held, whether Frazier could actually pull or not. we were doing provincials or whatever, chances are he could get in the poll. Right? So it's good. So it took me like a year and a half.
You have it.
Why did you keep coming back?
And again, you just see little improvements, you see, it was fun, I enjoyed it, and just, gave something to drive for, right?
Okay. I know for me, it was tough to keep coming back after getting the butt into it, time after time after time. It took me a year chasing Perry Bloom. Right? Well, I was 100 pounds more heavier than Perry Bloom. Couldn't touch him. Like not even close.
So you gotta remember when I started, the names that were in my class
Yeah.
were elite. I mean, we're talking about Ed McCollum, then there was Harry Terrio, his brother.
Perry and Lee
Lee
Terrio.
Terrio,
Yeah.
they were in my class. I mean, these guys are elite, they know what they're doing, they've been around for years.
Yeah.
And so, I looked up to them for 3 or 4 years watching them pull. So by the time I compete against them, I'm just like blown away that I'm pulling against these guys, right? So it was for me to lose against them, it wasn't.
You remember what year that was? You remember, like when you were 19?
Yeah, so I think 1994 is when I started.
So just before Rick actually held the first nationals here in
Yeah,
here
exactly.
in Nova Scotia. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't, because I stepped away in '89 for a couple of years when my wife and I had a baby. I must have been through 94, 95, so it must be somewhere around there. Give me a couple of really memorable moments in our wrestling.
Memorable moments.
Just whatever. It doesn't. There's no.
No, I mean, obviously one of my first nationals was a big thing.
And when was that?
That was in. Okay, why I don't know. It was before. I don't know the exact year. It was in years of PBI.
Okay.
This-
Probably in Summerside. Were we in Summerside that year?
I think so. It was
Okay.
it was in the
Yeah.
So I went there and again didn't really expect to do much. And I'm looking around these names from Ontario, BC, Alberta, and again I've been watching them, hearing about them, the pull against them, something I've never done before.
And it's the first time you're probably actually meeting them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the big names from back then? That
Not really.
No, that's okay.
Untearable names.
Yeah.
Faces I look at.
Yeah.
But again, I always watched heavyweights, but because that was who was always shown on webs and people talked about them. But the lightweight guys, you mentioned me, you were like, oh, yeah, he's the guy.
He's the guy. Yeah.
Right? And so that's how. So I was sitting here at the nationals and looking around and come on who's I see the list, who's might be in my class. I'm like, so I'm sitting there talking to a few guys, like, yeah, so and so is supposed to be got to be in this class. And
Oh.
that's me. Nice to meet you. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I suppose if it's your first exposure to guys on a national level, how would you know? Until you finally
Because
go.
back then, you don't have these shows on websites. You have a little bit here and there. You get some stuff you can watch, but it's not as much exposure as it's now. Right? So,
No. Yeah, not at all. I mean, it's way back when I started filming matches for post-production and being posted. Back then it was a website, but there was lots of people videotaped, and Rick and I started filming matches in the 80s. And lots of people filmed, but there was no website to go and watch stuff from Ontario or BC. I think we were one of the first ones in Canada to put any matches online, I think, but whatever. So
another moment I wanted to say was actually involved Rick. Rick and when he started doing Superman matches. So it was the Superman moments.
Yeah.
And we had the 5 or 4.
that was a 5 elimination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tournaments. And it was in the intro in one of those basement place bars.
Oh.
And it was the whole ground, right?
Yeah.
That's where we started practicing. So I was up there and got up against Rick, and I get the quarters in there. So I'm doing really good today, right? And I just, okay, I'm done. This is their last match. And I got up against Rick, and it's boom, and slammed. I'm like,
Oh, shit, what
that
happened?
just happened. Right? And then so I went to everybody else, get to the finals with Gary. And I'm sitting there like, Okay, so I gotta get everything I possibly have against this guy.
Yeah.
So I hit him as hard as I could, and I think I just shocked him a little bit. And I remember just being over here like this, and I'm like, I can't move past it. I know I can't. But that's my defensive in that area. I did good there, and I held on. Here, just worked a little bit here and there. I just remember feeling like, okay, yeah, there it goes. Yeah, a little more. I could feel it slipping away, and then I gotta go now or I'm done. And I hit, and when I hit, he took advantage of it, and right, he just wait for me to go.
Wow.
But that's scary, right? He knows what he's doing on the table.
It is. He's been around the game for a long
Yeah,
time.
sure.
Very crafty veteran. And I don't want to say he's underrated because I think everybody across Canada knows how good he is or has an idea of how good they think he is. I actually think in his heyday, he was better than what they're remembering.
I believe so.
And I think, you know what most people remember about Perry? Good times, laughs, and a great party.
Yes.
And that's what they, and
I
that
can
stands
tell
out.
you a few.
Oh, you and me both, but that's for a whole, that's when the cameras are off.
Exactly.
That's when we tell those stories. I know you folks want to hear those stories, but I just think he was, not that I want to say he was underrated, because I don't think he was underrated. I just think he was actually a little bit better than people remember.
Yes, I believe so.
That's all. And we have a bunch of this stuff on video, but it's not the same as being able to watch it. For me, one of my most memorable matches watching you was we were at the Canadian Nationals in New Brunswick. I think we stayed in Moncton and we did a rink in Cocan, New Brunswick, I think. You and Will Sardi in the finals in that hockey arena. And that was a friggin' war between the two of you. And if I remember Will telling me correctly, was that the first time he beat you?
First time he did that.
And it was for a national title. But it was,
Maybe twice, I think.
did he? Okay, so that I would never remember.
That's two I lost, yes.
Oh, okay. That was a phenomenal match in the finals.
Yeah, it was.
I'd have to go back and watch video to see your earlier losses. Are they the same? Because you guys had some wars. And speaking of wars, we're going to play a clip right now. James, can you play that first clip of Trever and Brett McDonald? Just from the recently held 2022 Atlantic Canadians. And you guys had a great match. Tell me about that match.
So the funny thing about Brett is I haven't seen him around for quite a while.
Yeah.
I forgot who he was.
Okay.
Totally.
Well, because he didn't come out anymore.
No, right? And the name's just kind of, okay, I remember that name, face, okay, I recognize it. And then I looked up, oh, now
Oh, so his hand would make that much of a.
It's phenomenal. Like his hand is so strong, it's just, you can't do it.
And you may not know this or not. Is he a fisherman over
I don't
here?
know if
I
he's
don't
not.
either because
I
you
know,
look at those guys.
Yeah.
Charlie and his son Steven and his brother Pat, Jimmy. Some of these guys, their hands are unbelievable. For fishing.
Yeah. So the last one I had against Brett would have been probably 5-8 years before this.
Okay.
So it's been a while. And he was just up and coming and his hand was just so strong. And then as soon as he picked up me, I'm like, I know who this guy is now.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. No, it was a good battle. Went through a few things with him. I think there's a couple restarts in there, elbow fouls, that kind of stuff going on. Again, I felt confident that my arm was strong enough to hold him, but his hand, he did those things.
Did you guys end up in straps? I don't know either. Mr. Producer lady, where are we at in the match? Any idea?
Still in the first match. Just a minute in.
Yeah, but okay, there's only one match on there. It's
There's
still
no straps.
no straps as of yet.
No, yeah, I know we started a couple times.
Yeah.
The elbow foul once. He was kind of like this, kind of pulled me back, and he was sliding off like that.
Okay.
I set up the second time, tried to go to a hook. He got over the top, so I could not going in there with him. That's where I wanted to be, but
Okay. You wanted to be in the hook with him,
yes,
but
I just with his hand so strong, and he taps the top fingers and the thumb really good.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in the round. If you do, you're underneath them.
oh, okay.
So I had a hard time getting through him, right? Into the which I could work on. But I knew I had to go back to what I knew to pull with him at the top roll, and I knew the center table holding him. I knew I pulled him.
Okay.
So I just held on and was waiting for him to capitalize on his safety weight.
Yep.
And he did. Yeah, I thought,
The elbow foul, second time. But I remember, I wasn't there, and I remember editing it and watching it going, holy shit, this may be, we don't do match of the day or anything, but this would be a candidate for
It was a good match, yeah.
that match of the day. So Jamie Long beat Mark McPhail.
And that was a phenomenal watch too.
It was an amazing
Good
match
watch, yeah.
and a huge win. Not that your win wasn't big for
No,
you,
but
this was a huge
huge
win
for June. Yes,
for
it was.
Jamie. But, oh yeah, look, your performance, just when I'm editing your weight class at the Atlantic, your performance that day was, you had a good day,
I did.
a really good day. You were on. You weren't missing the goals. You may not have been the fastest on the go, but you weren't missing.
I'm not overly fast.
No.
I'm
Speed
more.
wasn't your game, right?
No, it never really was.
Control.
Control and exactly.
Yeah. And so when I also, it's not one of my memories, it's I have several memories of you and the competitive juices get flowing. And Rick, Rob, whoever makes a call, fuck! You know what I mean? A couple F-bombs may
Every
fly.
once in a while, yeah. And in the moment, I never ever want to come across being disrespectful to them.
Yeah.
It's in the moment, I'm like, that didn't happen. I know it didn't.
And it's just heated moment.
It is, and they see it, and then, and obviously they're seeing what I don't.
What you didn't see,
exactly,
yeah.
so nothing good. So.
So do you find, okay, the tournament comes and goes, you compete, you go back home, you finish first, second, whatever you finish, and then you think a match has gone a certain way,
Yes.
and you watch video.
Oh, 100%.
The match didn't go that way, did it?
I rewatch every match I have and put on there.
Yeah.
I rewatch that probably a dozen times.
Really?
Always. Break everything. I'm not just mine, but mine specifically.
Well, no, but you want to watch to see, okay, what mistakes did I make? What do I need to
Yeah.
improve on?
There's matches when I'm like thinking I'm in trouble and I end up losing a match. And I'm like, oh my God, I was 3 inches from the pin pad. How I know? I feel like I was over here. I was like right here, like that kind of thing, right? And so those kind of breakdown for me is I'm starting to analyze those as for positional purpose myself, right? So like, okay, I'm here. I should have went there. Should have went there. Should have went that. So I do watch all those, and it happens every time.
If somebody is giving you advice while you're in a match, do you hear them?
One person,
But you can hear them?
one person.
And who's that?
No, sir. Only voice I hear.
Okay,
Doesn't matter what tournament it is, we're screaming and yelling. I can hear Will talking, whether he's talking to me, just chatting. I always hear his voice, and he's directing me through tournaments sometimes, his movements, so like the movements. And
that's
it's only
interesting.
his voice I hear. Don't ask me why. I know what it
But,
is.
so the rest, is it just background noise?
You don't hear.
Or do you don't hear anything? I never heard anything. When I pulled, I never heard anybody's particular voice. Nobody's. So Rick would talk to me before I would go to the table, if he was refereeing, of course. Say, you got a game plan, what is it gonna do? And then I remember in a match, and I think I was pulling Stevie Broad, and I made the first hit, and I'm going, wow, I shouldn't have hesitated and said, wow. Well, no, because we ended up slipping. And then in the straps, and I watched the video, and I don't remember Rick yelling this to me, Scott, tighten up, tighten up. I don't remember, he said this like 3 or 4 times. I don't remember hearing the bloody thing. Now, Stephen Broad has kicked my ass all over the table.
He was a beast back then.
He really was. Oh, absolutely. But that's cool. Who would be, to date, that you can remember, who's been your most memorable opponent?
Very good master.
Artie.
See, Artie and I trained reviews.
Okay.
Right? So I did a studio act for a bit. I would go to Truro, we train, and everybody knows Artie, knows how strong he is.
Yeah.
And he's just,
Especially that bloody mitt that hits
oh,
that hand.
it's huge, right?
That's what,
and-
like Rob McNamara, those drywall hands.
Yes, right, exactly. They're naturally big.
Oh, absolutely.
And, that guy, I had so much respect for him.
Yeah.
And we trained together for years. And then one match at the Rams, get up, set up with him, I hit him, pinned him. And he just looked at me like, shook his head, walked away. I'm like, okay, that was one off. That's all it was. Right? And he had a good match with this guy who moved down here from Georgia. He was here for work for a year or so.
Tim.
Yes, Tim something.
I can't pronounce his
Yeah, and
last
I
name.
wanted to pull him to see what he was like.
Yeah.
But him and Artie got into a battle, and Artie was dying for the final. Right, so it's just one of those things. It was just like one of those moments that's so much respect for the guy, and only pulled him twice, not I for one part.
Really? That's the only time that you guys. So for me, I wouldn't have guessed Artie. I remember you having incredibly memorable matches with Will.
Yeah, for sure.
something that sticks in my head is Red Gillette.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I look at, and this is probably my most biggest downfall in the sport. It really is. But my battles with Will, I think in tournament wise, I win more with him. But when it comes to actual, just me and him going to battles, he's beating more.
Okay.
I knocked that up to really the timing where I was in air wrestling when Will's coming.
Yeah.
Right? Not to ever get that guy. He
No, no,
is-
no.
Will is phenomenal.
I'm not taking,
But
yeah,
never taking it away from him.
I'm not taking that as any
No,
disrespect
but
towards Will at all.
for me, it was more of, I didn't have that drive.
Okay.
I didn't have that drive to be there at that time, right? And I was just with emotions. And I trained like Will was, so it really, it's my fault, obviously.
Yeah.
But I still, he's phenomenal. And he's certainly, right? But Rajen and I, we were so the same. We pulled the same way, similar strengths, similar disadvantages, we both had the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
So with Rajen, for the longest time, I'd say pretty dominant in the sport for Atlantic Canada.
In the beginning of your guys' life, was he
Yes.
fairly new then and
I don't-
still learning, or?
Well,
Do you
I
remember?
don't know because I was new going to tournaments. I never went to Atlantics very much at that time. Probably never went to Canadians. I stayed local.
Yeah.
So the starts, I don't know how long before that, right? But I would say the first year or so I was really dominant with the rate in class with the Jack. And then he started getting better and better and better, and he would have really good balance. It was always great to get that big hit.
Yeah.
And I would battle from there and battle from there. Right? And so I worked on that and back. It was back and forth over the years with Rajen. And I think with Rajen, I don't know who won more, honestly.
No.
But he was always that guy that would take it an inch, and he wouldn't give me any, and it was just a battle every time.
Yeah, he was a stud at the table. There's no way to answer that. He was a stud. But there was a few of us around then. So him and Will.
Yeah.
Artie, do you remember when Artie was well over 200 pounds?
Oh, yeah.
We saw him when he was small, and then he came back, and we're going, holy shit. Is that really Artie McMaster? The number 210 sticks in my head.
Yeah,
He weighed in somewhere around 210, and we're going, holy shit. And he didn't fare all that well with the bigger guys. And then he finally got a little bit serious about his arm wrestling and dropped the weight. And but that's all that let Artie tell his own story. So that was good. I have memories of you and Will. I have memories of you and Reg. Did you and Tim Wrigley pull very much?
100%. Yeah, Tim was another one that battled with it. So if you look at any given tournament in like Canada, it was always me, Tim, Will, Rajen. Like those were the main. Any of the four of us could win, right? I do have more of a winning record against Tim, only because he pulled away,
Okay.
and I knew how to attack one thing he did that he was phenomenal at, which songs where I was strong at. So it just balanced out that way, right?
Yep.
But I've lost to Tim just a bunch, as well.
So for a guy like Tim, who's very particular with his setup,
Yes.
how does that wear on your patience at the table?
Oh, not at all.
No?
The longer the setup is, the better it is for me. Right? Because
So you're cool with that?
I play games up there.
I can screw around all day, because Tim did.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he would try and wrap his
And-
hand around.
And that's part of the sport.
It
right?
is, absolutely. I'm not trying to diss Tim, don't
No,
get me wrong.
no. He was phenomenal at what he did.
Yep.
And he knew what he wanted, and he would go to it. But for me, the longer the setup is, the more relaxed I get. So when I go to the table, like I can't be standing around watching the tournament go to the table. I gotta sit down. My name's coming. I'm turning my back, relaxing. It's just happening.
Yeah, okay.
And so the longer the setup is, the more I relax, the more I sit there with patient. And so I'll play around to extend that period if I can. Bring myself down to level where I get hungry.
Okay, but you're ready.
Yeah.
And I continue to screw around.
Oh, I don't-
What is it? You're okay with
I
that?
don't.
So you and I hated it. The only other guy I've ever heard who has said, no, I don't mind that, John Thompson.
Oh, I don't.
Uncle John he'll play all day. If the referee's gonna let him play, he'll play. He figures he's gonna wear over your hand. So You never had hand issues
I
blowing up and being pumped?
I do, like my hand is my weakest part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. It's always the part that people need to work is my hand.
Yeah.
So when I say I enjoy it, and I know it helps me, it's because I'm not squeezing. I'm not giving them that fight that they want. I know where I want to set up at, and I won't set up nothing less.
Okay.
Right? But saying that, I hate referee's grip too. So it's a very fine line of letting go of referee's grip or just giving up a little bit, right?
I don't watch as much video as probably people think. I don't watch as much video as most other people because I'm working on my own stuff. So my question is, what I'm watching right now is it seems that some newer pullers coming in today, they think that the referee's grip, they have a determining factor in that. Folks, you're at the you don't get to ask for anything now, right? That's the way I was when I started off in arm wrestling, trained referee. So yeah, no, I want this. No, it's a referee's grip. You lost your right to have.
That's it.
Yeah, kind of same with the straps. They're trying to go to the straps as like a reward. I always felt that it was as a puller, it was a punishment.
It is.
Now I wasn't afraid to go in the straps because I knew my arm was strong enough, and my hand wasn't strong enough. So I never had to, once we got the straps.
Well,
I'm
when I
not worried
say
about
my
that.
hand, my fingertips are very strong.
Okay.
So if I can use just the tips of here up in my hand,
Yeah.
I'm in control.
So where in your hand is it weak?
It's literally the wrist, more of a wrist.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it's more of a wrist bent back that people can beat me at.
Yeah.
But even bent back, my fingers aren't being pulled.
Okay.
Right? So I do have fingers and forearm, but it's just the wrist part that always supposed to be part of this.
Okay, so you don't like the referee's grip.
No,
And what about the strap?
really depends on the person.
The
Anyway,
person you're pulling against or the referee putting it on? Both. Okay,
I do have a favorite position to be with referees,
Yeah.
if I can be.
sure.
Than the referees. But when it comes to the strap itself, it's if you have a big, thick hand, you need straps. If someone has the same hand size as me, I'd rather have those straps because then I can really do and control what I want.
And let me ask you this, so, and you're not mentioning referees' names or anything, but it seems to me, especially for new guys coming in, and guys like me who've traveled around and seen a whole bunch of different referees, it's good that we have such good quality
100%.
caliber referee, but it's bad. Because the only bad thing about it is when you go outside of Nova Scotia, you're not getting the same quality refereeing. And I'm not trying to diss any referees up there. It's just a different. I've been at tournaments when they pull guys out of the crowd to referee. That doesn't mean that. And because it's a good arm wrestler doesn't mean it's going to be a good referee. How long have you arm wrestled? And how much do you know about refereeing? Not a whole lot.
No, not at all. I mean, so it was 19, so
Yeah, 30 years, like close to 30 years. And we had you doing spot judging.
Oh, yes.
For one of the basement battles. No, you didn't do a bad job.
I
was-
think I did.
Well, no, but all you were asked to watch for was a couple of things.
Exactly, yes.
So speaking of basement battles, Janice, could you play the next clip? Match between you and James
These
Muse
years, yes.
at basement battles.
Very strong up and comer in sport.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
He really seems to be learning his lessons well.
I think so, yes. I mean, James called me out. He wanted to pull me. And being one of the elite guys in Nova Scotia, that happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
So with James, and I'm always at practice working on something that I am terrible or something I'm weak at and so. So
Well, practice is
that
for.
goes over. Exactly. It is. But that's, again, I don't try to dominate a practice.
No.
Some guys do, I don't. So these basement battles for me are a chance for me to use what I'm working on. It's not about me winning a match. It's really not.
It's a training exercise,
It's
really.
100%. 100%. So this match goes to 5. And I know what I can do to beat James.
Yeah.
So for example, like I have no inside pressure inside here. Like Will's phenomenal inside here. My pressure's here. So
Okay.
I'm working on this here, right?
Yeah.
So if you notice the first match, James gets me boom there. I'm like that.
Oh, shit. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That didn't work. So I adjust my elbow, open up the attack, and I hit him. Okay, so that's 1-1. I can go back to tries. So I don't go quite as tight, but I go a little bit more, adjust my elbow, adjust the hit, and boom, again. So it's again from here to here, I have enough. So
really?
that's what I'm working on, right?
Yeah,
It's that
sure.
inside press, push, and so third match, or he won the third one, fourth one I get up, and it's like, okay, so I go back to a little more Old Faithful, top roll I'm doing, and still trying to get the side pressure on my setup, but not as dominant as I was trying to do. And I get top roll there. Fifth one, like, what? I'm not using this. But you'll notice in the video there's a couple foul starts right here, and like, you did the replay afterwards, you really see it, right?
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's like, ready?
Oh,
I'm like, no.
yeah. Well, but I mean, for the most part, Rob and Angela McNamara are putting on these matches for amateurs.
Yes.
Right? And, but you got called out by
Yep.
quote unquote an amateur.
No, but I mean, James,
But you want to
he's
pull
strong,
against you, yeah.
he's fast, and you know that's the type of player I need to compete against as well because his hand is big, it's thicker, and so you know he has great potential in sport. But at the same time, you know, being in the sport for a long time, I still got to at least keep my reputation a little bit. Yeah. So
It bothers a lot of people. If somebody shows up with the cameras, changes everything. Now they don't want to lose on camera.
Yeah.
And some guys are really, really
uh,
tight about that. How about you?
not really. It's just like if you watch the match, the way just explained it, it's really for me to work on it. But when it came down to, you know, if the first thing hadn't worked,
Yeah.
I would have stayed with that, kept going, and I would have been okay being 3 straight.
Right.
But I couldn't.
Okay.
So down the wire, yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm not letting James walk away and say it's minimum
Right.
in the max. I'm not letting that happen. So
I think he's coming along good and,
Yeah.
and he's learning. The only thing I would say that he's lacking down is they don't have experienced people like we do up here
exactly,
to teach them. That's the only thing I think they're lacking.
I think so too.
And they can come up and learn some lessons dealing with you and Rick and Rob and whoever else is happens to be at practice and is training, and hopefully he can take those lessons back and
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the clubs around here, I mean, Timberley, Sackville, Pearl, we have some phenomenal experienced footballers.
there really is.
Yeah.
There really is. So we've got Perry's down in the valley now. They do a little bit of training in Berwick, and you're right. Sackville Club, Timberley Club, the True Club. Now they practice on Sunday nights. They actually usually practice right now. They're not practicing this week because of the Dow Zone coming up on the weekend. Okay. And I haven't known you to do a lot of traveling to arm wrestling things. So you pretty well have stuck just to Atlantic Canada,
Pretty much.
right? And dare I say more just to Nova Scotia for the most part?
No, I mean, there's probably a 10-year period where New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia, I would travel with whoever was at, right?
Yeah.
There's time when, you know, I won 5 ranks in a row. That I was traveling quite a bit, but again, only Atlantic Canada. And that's the kind of the time when I was going to nationals, and actually leave it
Because
nationals.
the Nationals were here in Atlantic Canada as
Exactly,
well.
and then when they had the Worlds in Ottawa, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. So I have traveled a little bit, that's probably what I've done for my years on.
Okay. And not that I'm looking for a destination of where you want to travel to, but any tournaments that you've heard of that you'd like to travel to,
100%.
like where?
One that I don't know the name of it, but it's maybe the North American one down in Mexico last year, I think, or somewhere down there.
I think there was one in, the last one I remember off the top of my head was Costa Rica. There was some North Americans.
Yes. So I know what's his name there from Uganda. He won that. I mentioned the other day.
Matt Smith went
Matt
there
Smith,
and won,
yeah.
yeah, well, I got his name written down
Yeah,
for something
that's
else.
it,
but-
yeah, but that's it. So I watched him pull there, and that's I want to go back to that.
Okay. And of course, that particular tournament is under, we'll go to politics, that's under WAF
Yes.
rules. And so I know Rick just went to Oklahoma City to referee the IFA version of the North American Championships. As again, I haven't talked to him, so I don't know how the tournament was. But so now we're getting to politics. So one organization holds something. I don't know if the WAF version of the North Americans has happened in 2022. I'm not either. But and what about nationals, would you like to try and make like nationals here in Nova Scotia next year?
So I'll be there
You'll
for
be
sure.
for that.
Yeah, I think the next 5 years, my goal is next 5 years to make all 5 nationals.
Okay.
And I do want to hit 1 or 2 worlds in that zone, depending on how I compete out there.
And so I don't know you in Armstrong as a political guy, but right now you have a choice. You can go to WAF or you can go to IFA. Now, where would you, keep in mind that most of Canadians are probably going to go to the IFA.
Yeah.
Now, would you go to WAF on your own for that?
I have nothing against either one of them. I mean,
No.
not at all. I mean, IFA probably my first choices because I see the numbers and where they're going with the IFA and I see numerous competing there.
Yeah.
But I would have no problem going to one, for sure.
Right now, unfortunately, I think the WAF is still a higher caliber, only because they have more people and where the pullers are coming from. But I do believe that the IFA is a growing entity, and hopefully it continues to get better. So we finished playing that basement that was. If you have any questions for Trevor, please submit them, and the producer will let us know. So the next 5 years, you'd like to hit all the nationals? And I don't know where they're going to be next year. I know they're in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, and then after that, I have no idea. I don't know if the city of Ruffin knows and has final. I don't know either.
I mean, I'm 47 now. I really wanted to. Masters was my thing. I was like, okay, I hit 40, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I started, COVID hit, kind of took everything away, and so I just kind of put back burner. But now, 47, maybe 5 years, beating Masters.
Masters and then Grandmasters, right?
And just phenomenal names in both those classes. So
There really is. I think when I first started going to a national level, the Masters classes, no disrespect intended, they weren't near as competitive and good as they are now. And that mainly because it just seemed like now there's bigger numbers in Masters. This has become a huge day. Day one at the Canadian Nationals is big now. And look, I can remember guys going into the Masters classes, Earl Wilson, Mike Gould, just a couple of names. And then they would turn around and compete on the Sunday and be still winning. Yeah, like, damn. But Masters is no joke at all. No joke at all. In North America, our pullers hang around for a long time. Look at how dominant John Brzezinski still is, and Ron Bath, and these guys that aren't that young. Right? They're not that young anymore. So, and how many more years can they push themselves and excel at that high level? I don't know, beyond me, but so right now in Atlantic Canada, is there anybody you want to pull?
See, this has been my downfall in our wrestling. There was a period when I was pretty dominant and I didn't really have the drive to beat it.
Okay.
And that's when they start losing and
Yeah.
losing and losing. And again, so I took, had some health issues, took a little hiatus and just had some time off. And then it's only been about 4 years now, I'm back into it, right? So,
Okay.
so now I have a little bit of drive. I do have guys here in Atlantic Canada. It's more or less proving that I'm back and that, I am still, I can still do that.
And you don't care, whoever shows up in your weight
I don't
class,
care.
that's
And it's just it. So there's not really anybody I would call out in
No.
Canada. There are some guys that said, I'd like to beat. Some of them are bigger than me, so
Sure.
it's going to be harder to do. But
I'd like to see you and Brett hook up again.
I will.
That doesn't end on fouls.
100%.
I'd like to see, and look, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a win on fouls. That's
No, not at all.
You guys had a good pull. I'd like to see that continue.
I'll tell you a little secret with that tournament.
Yeah.
So when it was me and him, and then Dylan Curry.
Yeah.
So that was the final 3. that were
Okay.
going into it. And so it's him and Dylan going out to whoever wins on face.
So they were in the semifinals?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And I went over to Dylan and I talked to him.
yeah,
So listen, here's where Brett's gonna go, here's what you gotta do. Dylan has to speed. Here's where you're gonna hit him, hitting here, start loose, start light, and go into your hook, down low, sit up high, and boom and low, and it's hit him hard and hook, he can't handle that side push. And Dylan boom, put it in there. And it's really good.
really?
Yeah, and I was just like, it was a good match, but Dylan hit him right where I told him. So I was like, because I knew Dylan and I in a hook, that's what I want.
Oh,
I wanted to
okay.
feel Dylan's hook. I was
Yeah.
getting with him, right? And I was like, I was hesitant to pull Brett again. was like, just because it was what it was, but I knew, and nothing against Dylan.
No,
I just knew that with Brett's hand and with Dylan and a hook, where I had my advantages. So
well, if you're worried about Brett's hand, then
I get to work on that.
you have a question?
So James M, who's
Muse.
James M?
James Muse?
James Muse. He says, we'll meet again on the table, Trevor. And before November, I'm in.
Before November.
Before
That
November.
seems like a match before November.
So it sounds like.
So what do we know? August, what's coming up? I don't even know what's coming up. I'm not sure. September, there's a tournament down the valley. I think that Rick has scheduled. October is a battle in Atlantic. November, I believe, is another Superman. That's it for the year. Yeah, I think. But I mean, that could be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
James is a good young up and comer. Who you just mentioned too, Dylan Courier, is really making big strides and big gains.
Yeah.
He's got a big upside.
And that kid listens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like you sit there, you're great to talk to, and you'll talk to him about a couple things, and again, I watch him fly.
Okay.
And it's the same thing. And every time I see him, he's just a little bit better, a little bit faster.
And you know what? We talked about it earlier. Another one of those bloody fishermen, and they just got such a great hand from what they do every day at
Oh,
work.
yeah, exactly. You can't compete with someone that does physical labor like that
Every single
every single day.
Oh yeah, just crazy. Can't read with my glasses. So what weight class, like for nationals next year, what weight class?
154.
154, 70 kgs.
I'm 5 pounds.
So let me tell you who won that this year. Bad Brad Wade, first place. Brad Wade's a stud.
He is.
He is.
But he's one of those guys that I really want to try.
Well, I know you. Like, no matter how strong I tell you he is, you need to feel that for yourself. And finishing second to him, Matt Smith.
That's not exactly. Another name I really want to try.
And then a young kid from a heavier puller, Ashton DeZormo, Brian DeZormo's son, has really made huge gains. He's 19, I think, really talented kid. But at 19, we have no idea if they're going to how much they're going to stick around.
No,
If they're going to stick around.
No, they do, but
Well, you really do, especially when they show this much promise. Because then I wrote down, like, if you moved up to the 75 kilogram class this past year, Crazy George.
exactly. Again,
Do you really want to go there? You probably would like to feel what it's like.
Love to. I would.
But if you don't make it to the finals and have to pull them in the first or second round, your day could be over right then and there. And then Dan Belfay finished second to Crazy George. It was Crazy George, Dan Belfay, Nick Penner, and Marlon Hicks.
Yes.
That's a stacked friggin'
Yeah.
class.
Now, Nick Penner, is there 2 Penners brothers? Because one of the Penner brothers is who I beat in my first nationals.
Okay.
First World Nationals. But again, all those names I watched.
I just know
all
Nick and
the
his
time.
dad Bob.
Yeah.
That's the only one. And there probably is, and I'm thinking you're right, but the name escapes
Yeah.
me.
I watched all those guys pull every time I was online. I'm watching, learning, breaking down where they pull.
And then I even went up to the 80 kilogram class, wondering just in case you got really overweight. Another young kid, Mason DeRossi. His father is an understood, but Mason is showing promise. Like, he's really young and really explosive and amazing to watch. A lot of fun to watch. Him, Caden Esmond, Jason T-Block. This is the 80 kilogram, and then an old guy. Paul Ballouz ended up finishing fourth in the 80 kg class, but it was some tough
I'll be
classes.
54, 65. That's what I've always told myself.
So, assuming that he's going to make it next year, Bad Brad and Matt Smith, those are the guys right now who seem to be the cream of the crop. Brad Wade, it's just looking unbelievable. Every time I've seen him a few times over the past few years, but he just seems to look better all the time.
It's an old man sport.
It seems to be, well, here in Canada, unless you're a young juicer.
That's different, yeah. But
Yeah.
natural guys, I find that the older you get, if you stick with the sport, you just get get that edge, get that strength, get that tendons. And
I was gonna say, there, that's it right there. You build up that tendon strength and we're just great. So nationals for the next 4 or 5 years you'd like to go to. If worlds are handy, would you like
it doesn't matter.
About traveling
Yeah, I don't like
overseas.
traveling anymore. I'm gonna start doing things a little bit for wrestling. Just you know, it's 47.
I was gonna
should
say-
have done it 10 years ago.
maybe, yeah, maybe.
But it's at that point where you either do it or you.
Well, 10 years ago too, though, we had young family.
Yeah.
It was probably tougher to get away than as they get older, it's a little easier to get away
Exactly.
for the weekend or the week or whatever, however long you have to go. But I know, like in Winnipeg, there was a ton in the kids' classes.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think, if we get a third, I think we'd be doing lucky here in Nova Scotia. Rick was doing a lot of good recruiting and the numbers for the juniors were building, but then COVID hit and we got shut down. So what did you do like during those 2 years when we had not much going on? You got a basement battles.
Yeah.
That was
Just
during
all I would
COVID.
do is go over and out of practice and then hope for some basement battle matches or just you know, set up matches with the over Angela Robs, just try to get something of competitive edge in there. Right? So,
And what was a spot judge for one
I
night?
did.
Did you do it just
I
one
did,
night?
no, I did it 3 or 4 times.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
My memory, I remember going there and I remember filming them, but as far as any specifics, I don't. I remember you being there once and you're asking me questions and I'm going, holy shit, he did this.
Well, the thing is, the more I get into it, the more I realize I was missing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the first couple I did it, like that was easy. I'm like, oh shit, you can see this, you can do that. Right? So
And
there's a
sometimes,
lot to it, there really is.
sometimes arm wrestlers don't always make the best referees. Just because you know arm wrestling doesn't mean you know how to referee, right? And frustration sets in at times.
But the reverse is true too, that when you start looking at and bringing it down the sport like that, in the referee's position, you actually start learning what you can do, can't do, get away with, can't get away with. And that's, you know,
100%.
there's a lot you can learn just by being in that position.
I think every arm wrestler should take a referee seminar at least once.
I
At
did
least
my
once.
best at that.
Did you really?
I did great until the video section. Then like didn't see that tomorrow.
Okay, they don't do the video test anymore, but that's funny. When I took the test, after I was the head referee in Nova Scotia for a few years, my time refereeing was done. I came back, I took the referee seminar, just in case Rick needed help. So I think there was 4 or 5 of us taking it this one particular night. I'm the only one that was nervous. I'm the only one that passed. Every single other
Wow.
person failed. They were walking in there cocky and thinking that I can remember, so I make a call, and then the referees who are judging me are standing there saying, well, that's not what we're looking for. And I'm going, that may not be what you're looking for, but you need to tell your arm wrestler he needs to be a better actor than. Because he wasn't supposed to carry lifted his elbow when he was trying to do something. I was supposed to be calling something else, but I called the elbow foul because that's what happened first.
Or easy.
That's it now. That didn't make me fail. Like I said, I'm the only one that passed. But I just thought it was funny as how people think about it.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There is.
There is. So what else do you want to, like, have you accomplished everything in arm wrestling that you would like to accomplish?
all.
No? Are you close? No?
No, I mean, I do wish I had started 10 years earlier, and
Yeah.
where I'm at now, and the 7 year I took off, really did kind of hurt.
Sure.
But for me, there are some big names that I want to be pull against, I want to see, I want to feel, big tournaments I want to go to. And so, you know, that's kind of my goal being now the next, 5 years, right? Just to get these tournaments, get the Canadians more, not miss Canadians next 5 years. Pull a couple worlds in there, get some of these bigger international tournaments, right?
My question about that is, so you would like to do these things, how is it work-wise? Like you have no problems? being
No,
able
I
to
can
take.
take it out here.
Okay. So if you have to be gone for 4 or 5 days, and I mean, going to the nationals takes place over a long weekend.
Yeah.
So it's not too
But
bad.
it's still, yeah, I
usually-
mean, taking a week off is not a big deal, so.
Oh, that's cool. So that's good. So that's everything I have. That's everything in my list. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add. Sure. Is there anything I missed? Should we talk about?
That's the wrong person.
Oh.
No, not really, not really. I mean, when I come into this, to talk to you, there's certain things that I thought you were gonna bring up. And, it's little things like battles with will, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, but you did bring it up kind of, but it's just, those are kind of things that, again, for me, that are my standard, right?
Yeah.
Like, Will's pretty much done now.
Not pretty much done.
He's done.
He's done.
But he's the guy that I wanted to come back. When I come back in arm wrestling, he's the guy that I want to be.
He was your
Exactly.
measuring stick.
That's
the
exactly
thing?
right.
Yeah.
So, and when I was coming back in, he was going back in.
Okay.
Right. So it's just kind of it happened, right?
Yeah, well, and he made his one little comeback to go to the world.
Yeah, it was
Got
phenomenal.
himself a
Watch that.
world
That was
title.
awesome.
I can remember there's another time when my wife always complained when I used to watch the news, the local news every day. I'd be yelling at the television. Well, I sat in my office screaming at the video screen. It was this, I don't know if you watched, I watched Paul O'Connell and Chris Scott live from the world. And I was screaming, I was jumping.
I was yelling. Yeah, that's what you do.
It's so much fun to watch your friends and when they're doing well. Now, I feel bad, like if you go up there and get waxed 2 times, oh shit, that sucks. But if you're doing well, I find it so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so happy when you guys do well and I get to watch it. And it's even better for me if I get to come home. I filmed all the matches and I get to edit and try and show you in a really positive light. Sometimes it's negative, but
It happens.
I don't control the matches,
No.
right? Just shit.
Like if you go online right now and YouTube, put in my name, you're gonna see every match I've lost. Every match I've lost. Always.
Yeah, but what about the matches I filmed that you won?
No, not from you.
Oh, okay.
Like otherwise, like example, I used to laugh at it because people that would beat me in tournament were saying, "Boom."
They put up their
right away.
Oh yeah.
It's an easy, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a single video when videos started getting big that I won. It's on.
Really?
No. Every match with Will, he beat me, was on there. Everything was me losing. That's all you'd see. It's probably mostly all you'd see mostly now still, because there's some stuff on there now. Now that you're into it more and you put posting
Yeah,
more.
because and not only did I step away when we were having a family, but then I filmed next to nothing here in Atlantic
Yeah,
Canada.
exactly. You're traveling for a bit.
Yeah, well, I was getting invites and
Oh yeah, 100%.
they're willing to pay.
Well, I mean, you have a chance to figure something Nova Scotia or go to a big international or even BC, Toronto, see those big
Wherever.
names, exactly, right? So
Yeah.
makes sense. But no, there's a lot of videos on there of me
Losing.
Well, yeah. Not enough.
Well, what's funny about that is, so take that as a badge of honor, because these people think you're good enough that they want to highlight the fact that they just beat
That's
Trever
what it's
Weatherbee,
made from it, right?
right?
Yeah. And again, there was a point in time when there was nobody here consistently to compete with.
Sure.
Right? I mean, there's Perry.
Yeah.
Perry was pulling super heavyweights because that's where he was competitive, right?
He won the overall
I know.
provincials one
I
year.
mean, so you idolize the guy, you look forward to him, but you never get a chance to pull him into one.
Okay, yeah.
So
I suppose though, and guys like Eddie and Will and Artie, and they're in and out, and so you don't even know if you're going to get to face these guys
Exactly,
at a
yeah.
tournament. So it's kind of cool.
So Angela says she has videos of you winning.
Is that from basement battles or?
Don't know.
I don't either. I know Angela for years and years and years that I wasn't here. A ton of pictures and videos.
it's mostly the challenge matches
And it's mostly from, so whoever your opponent is, his girlfriend or wife or
Yeah.
brother is filming on their cell phone.
and posted, yeah.
Well, they're probably not even leaving the room before they post it.
Probably not.
And that's what kills me. And people think it hurts my feelings. But so if you got your son is there filming you.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt my feelings if he posts as the match is over, he posts it right away. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. What that's gonna look like, and what mine is gonna look like are totally different.
Not the same.
No, they're not the same thing at all. And phones are so good nowadays, they put out some awful good quality.
Yeah, for sure.
So
She says Atlantics and provincials.
Atlantic, well, I wasn't at Atlantic.
This year,
so-
yes. This year.
There you go.
And I was at provincials. So I wasn't at Atlantic, and thank you, Angela Hall, Angela McNamara. She did all the filming for me at Atlantic. So it was good. So listen, I really do appreciate you coming in, sitting down and
Appreciate it.
chatting. Maybe one day we'll actually get our shit together and a show will start properly. And so we switched over this time to my wife's laptop because we thought it would be better. It's wired in for internet. So hopefully we won't be in trouble. We couldn't get videos and like, are you kidding me? Are you joking? But so coming up this week again is the balance of main event number 3. 2 video clips Monday, 2 video clips Tuesday, 2 more matches on Thursday. And then I also have the Barb Schlegel spotlight and a Gary Goodrich feature match. And when will we see you next fall?
The next tournament,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get down to Harry's tournament this next week.
Oh, next weekend?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm hoping to, yeah. Really depends on just life and my phone right now.
Well, I was going to say, you've been nursing a bit of an injury, right? And how's that been?
Not great.
No, it's still
No,
not.
it happened with the match with Brett.
No bloody wonder. That was all a hand.
Yeah, his hand was like right here. It stuck fingers on my thumb,
Yeah.
and I was pulling against it. And he did backwards.
Well,
But yeah, so inside his hand like that, and it just literally pulled something in there. I can't seem to get it healed. So
and arm wrestlers being the stubborn idiots that we are.
still in practice. We still in practice.
You go to practice, and just because it hurts doesn't mean that I'm willing to let you win.
No,
Right? Unless it's broken, I'm still pulling.
Yeah.
Right. So so you're gonna try and make the battle zone that's coming up this weekend. And so that after, I don't know what we have after that. There's a small tournament in Windsor that Rick is doing in September. It's an exhibition down in Windsor at the exhibition grounds there. I don't remember what it's called. And then, but whether or not you're there, I don't know. But you're going to be at Valley Atlantic
I will be. Yeah.
and Superman tournament.
Sure. I always go to my horn for wrestling. I can't, but I always try to get there. It's good one.
Well, losing 5 times in one day.
It's great.
It's
And
got to be for the arm
I've
wrestlers.
done really well this one. So it's one of those things that one of the things I have hold pride in myself is that I'm always beating against the bigger guys.
Yeah.
And sometimes
That means you outlasted everybody else around your way.
Exactly, yeah. So
That's cool. Again, hope you tune in for the rest of the week. You have a question over there? No, you're playing with my phone and, oh. I know you want me to wrap up because we're already over time. So we'll have that. I will be down at Perry's Battle Zone filming those matches. So those should be coming up the week after next. Get those matches, and then I'm off to Toronto to the We the North tournament. And I think that's it for me for September. When I get back from Toronto, I have a couple of tournaments to edit and get posted, and that's it. Anything else I need? Looking at my producer, she's shaking her head no, and we're all good. Trevor, I appreciate it. Thanks very much, sir.
appreciate it.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate you spending your time with us. Good night now.